All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into some Raiders talk, focusing on the quarterback position and what this season might hold for the Las Vegas Raiders. So, over the weekend, Gardner Minshew was named the starting quarterback for the Raiders. I shared my initial thoughts on this, and to be honest, it's not really about Minshew. I've just been rooting for Aiden O'Connell. He was a fourth-round draft pick last season, and he held his own. I really wanted to see him step up as the long-term starter, because that would solve a lot of problems for the team. Minshew is solid, but he's not the guy you're building a franchise around at this stage in his career. But hey, it is what it is. Now let's break this down. The Raiders are kicking off the season with two critical games. They can't afford to start off with a 2-4 or 1-5 record. Even 3-3 isn't ideal, especially with this defense, coaching staff, and the offensive weapons at their disposal. Getting off to a strong start is crucial, and that's what we're diving into in tonight's video. But before we get into it, if you enjoy this content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for daily Raiders updates. Raiders fans, if we can get this video to 100 likes, it would mean the world to me as we push toward 15K subscribers. Now, Vic Tafur from The Athletic gave his take on why Minshew got the nod, and I think many Raiders fans watching this right now might feel the same way I do. All offseason, I've been saying that if Aiden O'Connell isn't the starting quarterback, it's not a great sign for the Raiders. I wouldn't go as far as to say the Raiders failed as an organization. It's partly related to Jimmy Garoppolo's situation. But if O'Connell doesn't win this starting battle, we've got some long-term questions to figure out. Because once again, Gardner Minshew is probably not the long-term answer. Sure, you've got examples like Geno Smith with the Seattle Seahawks. He turned his career around, and they made the playoffs a couple of years ago. But let's be real, no one's saying the Seahawks are about to win the Super Bowl this season. And I don't think many people believe the Raiders will win the Super Bowl with Minshew either. The frustrating part is, during the second preseason game, I wish Antonio Pierce had saved this decision for a bit later. It's preseason, after all, but it seems neither Gardner Minshew nor Aiden O'Connell clearly stood out during training camp or the preseason games. And that's confusing because O'Connell started the last 10 games of last season and was initially named the starter before the preseason. If it was his job to lose, how did no one stand out enough to keep it? Let's go back to last week's game against the Dallas Cowboys. O'Connell's night ended with a pick six, and that was a tough pill to swallow, especially considering that Minshew, in the first quarter, threw what should have been a pick six to Willie Harvey, a linebacker for the Cowboys. O'Connell has thrown fewer interceptions in practice too, but here's the thing. Antonio Pierce is coaching for his job, Luke Getsy is coaching for his job, and Tom Telesco is managing for his job. They all have everything to lose and almost nothing to gain right now. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but the reality is that Antonio Pierce is in a tough spot. He's dealing with a fourth-round rookie quarterback who managed to lead the team to a .500 record, and as a head coach, Pierce led the interim Las Vegas Raiders to a 5-4 record. Unfortunately, he's been dealt a difficult hand with no solidified quarterback. And in football, where you land matters, whether you're a player or a coach. Pierce finds himself in a low-leverage situation. When you dig into the details, things don't get much better. Colton Miller has just returned to health after being injured for what seems like forever. Rookie left guard Jackson Power Johnson, JPJ, has been sidelined all camp with a concussion and only got back on the field about a week ago. So it's possible the Raiders opted to start Gardner Minshew because they're facing tough defensive opponents in the first two games. Aiden O'Connell isn't as mobile as Minshew. And while everyone talks about Minshew's mobility, I'm not entirely sold on it. I don't think you need to be mobile to succeed as an NFL quarterback. Minshew's more of a gunslinger. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. He's been a backup for a reason. But here we are with him as the Raiders' starting quarterback. I'm not trying to nitpick, though. Raiders radio host JT the Brick made a solid argument this past Sunday. He pointed out that the first two games are on the road against some of the league's better defenses. Maybe Minshew's mobility will help him step out of the pocket and avoid guys like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa better than O'Connell could. So, giving him the first two games makes sense when you look at it from that angle. Taking a step back, I'm okay with this decision. Tom Brady mentioned something a few weeks ago about how coaches tend to throw young quarterbacks, especially late-round picks like O'Connell, into the fire too soon. It's asking a lot to expect a fourth-round QB to be playoff ready. Remember, the Raiders were dealing with Jimmy Garoppolo and Josh McDaniels at this time last year, and they still managed to go 8-9. Considering everything, the Raiders had a strong second half. even boasting one of the best defenses in the NFL. So, with Minshew starting, we'll take it week by week, month by month. Maybe O'Connell gets his shot later in the season if the Raiders aren't in playoff contention. The good news is Colton Miller is off the PUP list, and JPJ should be ready to go. Hopefully, both will be on the field soon. There are also some other players to watch, like our cornerbacks. Kamen Richardson and MJ Devonshire, our 4th and 7th round draft picks, didn't have the best preseason, but Jacorian Bennett, a second-year rookie out of Maryland, has looked solid. That's a positive sign, but we'll dive into that more tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for daily Raiders content. But most importantly, with Gardner Minshew starting at quarterback, what's your win-loss prediction for the season? Thanks for watching. That's all I've got. Peace